Am I on? If I'm on, thank you very much for joining us on Call Digest yet again. I'm joined now by political affairs analyst Austin NNOROM. Thank you very much for finding time to join us today.
Thank you, my pleasure, and good morning, viewers at home.
Some pockets of violence have been recorded in Lagos, say in Mushi and Oshodi. Lagos also, according to NHRC, is one of those 3 states that have been highlighted as violence-prone areas ahead of this election. Would you say that enough is being done by security agency to calm the tension?
Well, I give it to the present police formation and leadership of the police, and we must also be open in congratulating them so far, because before now you can imagine the level of political assassinations that are taking place, especially when it borders on the elections and at periods like this. And I wonder how many candidates or aspirants or people who are running elections across both parties that you will say have been killed. And then when we talk about violence, of course you can't completely eradicate that. You have them in sports, you have them in so many other areas where people have to do some competition because of overzealous people. And there are some little maybe mismanagement of things that border on the campaigns too. So when these people who are campaigning and they clash with the other party, the opposition party, all right, they might just see 1 or 2 overzealous people who might throw water at each other or exchange words, and of course it will lead to some little violence. But I've not recorded any loss of life. I've not heard about a loss of life.
None
so
that
far,
you
yes.
have heard of.
None that I've heard of. Even as yesterday, I was driving through the Yaba Tech axis, and I saw people who identified to be members of a particular political party. They were campaigning towards that area, and there were members of another political party. So it now borders on who gave them permit. Did they have permit to be on that area? You understand? Because I remember that the AIG and the CP at various times had said, look, that people should come and take permits for, or get permissions for rallies. You understand? So, but I think so far, so good. So far, so good.
River State is another very dicey place, you know, ahead this election. Just yesterday, and I believe it's also on the papers, where the River State governor, Rotimi Amechi, is also talking about certain assassination attempt on his life. That was yesterday, where he claimed that some people shot at his car. But we're joined now by our correspondent in Rivers, who, okay, I understand that Biola is crisscrossing between Port Harcourt and Bayelsa, but I understand you're in Bayelsa now, right, Biola?
Yeah, I'm in Bayelsa now.
Okay.
I'm in Bayelsa right now.
How would you describe the security situation like, especially while you were traveling?
It is known that everybody, Bayelsa is the home state of the president and one of the presidential candidates, the People's Democratic Party. Everything is calm here. And by now, we are expecting the arrival of the president in Bayelsa by 12 here.
Okay.
Hello?
I'm with you, Biola.
Yeah. They are expecting the president to arrive in Bayelsa by 12 noon today.
Okay, of course, that's where it will be voting tomorrow.
Everybody is saying about their normal business. The security situation is not different from what we observe in River State yesterday. Everything is set for the I think in River State has to be sensitive materials to government.
I recall that you talked about certain incidents on your way from Port Harcourt to Bayelsa. What actually happened?
Okay, on our way from Port Harcourt to Bayelsa, specifically on the Imperial Road, yesterday, we saw some youth who did use mask use from the presence of the political front. for the several lives, shoot sporadically into the air, people were running for their lives.
I see. And for how long did that last that you witnessed?
That lasted for like 20 minutes. It's from Lagos, from River State to Bayelsa, to take another route. She had to come back from Ekpere Road to take another route, Bayelsa.
Was there any visible security presence? Was there any swift reaction from members of the Nigerian police or the Nigerian military?
So, what the security officer was, these people when the shooting was on.
I did not get that. Biola, can you move away from where you are so that I can hear you clearly?
Can you hear me clearly now?
It's getting better. Go ahead, please.
Okay. At the time the shooting was going on, the sporadic shooting was going on for about 20 minutes. No member of the security was gone. But normal thing was to come because the government immediately the sporadic shot was after the end of the sporadic shot, they entered into their
It's all right. But in Bayelsa, where you are now, can you see any military presence as it's been reported on some papers this morning in Odo State? Can you see any soldier or any of such troops where you are? Okay. Security officers of the police or the military? Can you confirm that again? Every security presence of the Nigerian police or the military? It's all right. We'll get back to you, Biola, when we can hear you more clearly. Thank you very much for joining us today. Biola is reporting from Bayelsa, and I believe that he will also be in Port Harcourt in a matter of time to find out what the situation is like there. Lagos, Rivers, I think Kano or Kaduna is, these are very interesting areas where there have been records of violence in time past. Would you say that at this time, probably we should be thinking of the involvement of the Nigerian military, like we have seen, obviously, in some areas already?
Well, I opened the newspaper center spread where there were over 40 people who gave interviews on their choice of what they wanted. And I spoke there, and I have consistently wanted us to have the involvement of the military, considering the roles they have played in the elections that have taken place so far.
Okay.
And I don't know why anybody should be afraid of having the military, because it baffles me. These people are there. They are not going to be in the ballot, in the booths. They are just on the roads. We have had them. The election that brought His Excellency, the governor of Lagos State, into office was one that I witnessed that had full military presence. And it was very difficult for any of these hoodlums to perpetrate any of their...
Well, you're talking as if you did not hear the leaked Ekiti audio where some kind of conversation were on between the members of the Nigerian military and some political stakeholders of a particular political party.
I don't know.
Isn't
if
that some sort of worry?
That's an allegation. I don't think that has been proved.
Some of the people whose voices were heard then came up to say that someone like the governor of Ekiti State did not deny that he was in that particular place on that day. So that's not an issue of discussion at all.
Well, yeah, it's not, because but I can tell you that in most states, in Osun State, did we have a conversation between the governor and you understand? Elections were quite peaceful there, and in states like Anambra, you understand? I think anybody who does not want, what is the first of all, let's ask ourselves, what's the strength of our police? You understand? what's the strength of our police? The entirety of the strength of our police cannot provide security for these elections. The combination of the security of the police, the civil defense, and what have you. All right? So I look at the situation where we should not only deploy the entirety of the armed forces, the Air Force, the Navy, because we can't afford to get it wrong. We can't afford to get it wrong. If we begin to talk about some areas like the River State you're talking about right now, why will anybody not deploy soldiers to River State? You understand? Most of the areas of in the northeast where you have these issues that have border on the insurgents, why will you not? You understand? And some areas even in the south is that, you know, issues that border on ballot snatching and people coming up to scare people, shoot guns in the air because they know this is one particular area of strength of another party. You understand? These are things we all know.
But what exactly are the challenges with the Nigerian police? Because this is their primary responsibility. Is it a challenge of equipment? Is it a challenge of numerical strength?
Yeah, but number one, numerical strength.
Motivation?
No, number one, numerical strength. Number two, motivation. You know that most of the what do you call them now? The reforms that we have had over the police, things that have, reports that are supposed to have been implemented, a couple of them have not actually been implemented. And you see, the police, as we talk today, you know, they don't have enough strength. You understand? I mean, numeric strength to take care of this task.
There are reports that over 36,000 policemen have been deployed to Lagos State. Isn't that enough? Do we explain?
What is the population of Lagos State, and how many polling booths do you have in Lagos State? How many local governments? 36,000. You know what 36,000 is? Look, 36,000 policemen would not effectively and effectually man 3 local governments in Lagos. You understand what I'm saying? You can't. All right? You're talking of policemen that are going to be on the streets. You're talking of policemen that are going to be on the booths. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, let's be factual. Let's tell ourselves the truth. Look, you're talking of a presidential election, and everybody wants to win this election at all costs. You understand what I'm saying? So let's not create some small openings for people to be able to perpetrate. You understand? Let's beef up security. Let's have a very tight security that at least will make it very difficult. Okay. You understand? For anybody. We can't say that the violence will be completely ruled out, but at least it will limit it. It will check the excesses.
Let's begin to also look at the position of the Nigerian police on some issues. You recall that the IGP at 2 occasions now have talked about electorate voters, you know, casting their votes and going back home. Of course, unlike his submission, INEC has said that voters can still hang around about 300 meters from the polling units. On the contrary, some political parties are saying if elections are supposed to be counted, why shouldn't voters stay back to, you know, also monitor the counting? But also, out of the 15 offenses that they released now, they are talking about people hanging around. If I can get that in a minute. They say amongst, they're talking about snatching or destroying of ballot boxes, holding public meetings during election, wearing or carrying badge or a poster of a political party, threatening to inflict injury or, you know, on any person. They also talked about loitering. Now, have you been able to define what loitering means, you know, vis-a-vis defending one's home?
You see, let me tell you, you know our police. There is nobody who is in Nigeria who do not understand the little problems we have with our police. Now, the Nigerian police mentality is a mentality where there are 2 gates, one going into a place and one coming out of a place. The police will lock one, and everybody has to use one in and out. And that's the process. You understand what I'm trying to say? So that it makes it easier for them to be able to check. You understand what I'm saying? Our police because of so many things that border on their efficiency, all right, will even make it very difficult for you to move out in the night. You can imagine how developed this country is. The world over, it will shock you that in places like Saudi Arabia, as at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., you can still go and pull your tooth. Hospitals are working. You understand what I'm saying? Businesses are running like in the day. People work shifts, morning shifts, night shifts. Why we can't do that here is because of security. In fact, if you step out of your house by 1 a.m. or 12 a.m., everybody will think you're insane. They will think you're mad. Where are you going to? All right? But you can't be going out of your house by 2 a.m.
Power supply could also be a part of it. Electricity.
Yeah,
the
of
fact
course.
That there's light everywhere, and you can't know whether it's night or day.
Now, but you see here, the security man will ordinarily want things to be done in a way that he will be able to exert his duty with a lot of ease. His duty will be without so much stress. What I mean stress, people vote, they are not around, they go to their homes. Only party agents are there. There is no political party that will not have agents. Now, it's difficult for anybody who is not a party agent, you understand what I'm saying, to be able to perpetrate any level of, you understand what I'm saying? I'm looking at from their own area now, I'm looking at the police angle. But from the angle of a man who wants to vote and defend his votes, I want to be there and see what is happening. I hope you get what I'm trying to say. So we have to look at it from both ways. The IGP does not want an issue where there could be violence in the booths, and the only way you can have violence in the booths is people vote and they stay around.
Just a minute. Let's quickly hear what our correspondent in Kwara State has to say. Rashid is joining us now. Rashid, good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm fine. What's the situation, the security situation like in Kwara this morning?
Well, everywhere is cool, everywhere is calm. The serenity is okay. The whole Kwara residents are expecting the move of the general polls, which is slated for tomorrow. And what is so significant here is that people are so aware of the polls, and most of those who are not residents in Ilorin, but are not having their polling units or their work in Ilorin, have actually been shipped out. Let me use that word. For instance, the whole of the bulk of Okada riders who are not of Ilorin indigenous, they've all left. It's so quite difficult for us to get movement around with Okada this morning, which shows that most of these people have actually moved away from Ilorin to their respective towns and villages. So that shows the level of awareness and the level of readiness of the people to cast their vote and choose the leader of their choice.
But how sure are you, Rashid, that this mass exodus is a result of they wanting to vote? Because there are other reports that people are also leaving where they are for security reasons. Have you been able to define the reason in Kwara?
Well, as we all know, the expectation of violence and the fear is always accompanies days like this. But in this case, one of the things so far, short of the pocket of violence that happened during the campaign period, there has not been any major incident, any major events that can actually instill fear in the people that will make voting apathy is a choice. With that, they've always, the PDP and the APC show of big parts of accusations have not always been at bloody violence with each other. So with that, it's actually been, and with the history of Kwara politics, though the opposition and the government in power might have been exchanging tantrums, but that has not in any way resulted into bloody violence. And this is actually playing out in this one again, most especially since the result of the presidential election and that of the National Assembly, which is going to be domiciled in the respective local government and polling units. The tensions might only rise maybe during the governorship elections. But we think now, with the fact that Kwara State has a relatively peaceful politically compared to other states or some other states where there has been a bloody of violent political activities, the exodus is mainly based on the fact that they want to go and vote. Though that cannot be totally ruled out that some are leaving because of the fear of violence.
It's all right. From what you can see, which of the security agencies is predominantly visible? Soldiers or policemen?
Hello?
Which of the security agencies can you say are visible on the streets of Kwara State? Soldiers or policemen?
For now, the presence of the Nigerian Army is still minimal. Yes, I can say that. The presence of the Nigerian Army is still minimal. Though we are expecting an upsurge from this evening till tomorrow morning, we are expecting an upsurge. But for now, it's still the normal security agency, the police are on patrol, on frequent patrols. But specifically, the Nigerian Army is still on the lower side for now. We are expecting that to change anytime from now when they are inch closer.
It's all right. Thank you very much for joining us at this hour, Rashid. We'll be back with you for more updates from Kwara State. But what would you expect the electorate to do? They seem to be at the middle of different school of thoughts. While the IGP is saying vote and go home, some political parties are saying no, vote. As a matter of fact, the governor of Lagos State, in his broadcast to the people of Lagos, asked them not only to vote, but to conduct themselves peacefully around 300 meters and stay there till the votes are counted.
Yes, it's... I just explained that. I told you, I said, for the police, it's safer for them, all right, that people vote and then they go and it's only the agents that are there. But for us that have voted, we want to, there's this, we'll be very inquisitive. We want to find out who won. I want to find out who wins in my boots. You understand? And I don't want to get a second-hand report. So I want to stay there and...
to verify.
Yes, and be sure that I find out, I get a first-hand information. To the police, on the other hand, again, if I'm there, I portend danger. You understand? The likelihood of a clash, even through discussions and arguments, might come up. All right? To the police, that I'm there, one or two people might be up to some mischief. You understand? So these are things that I think the police are looking at. We have to be very objective with most of these things. I don't think that a policeman, the IGP, will say somebody in my own ward should vote and go because he's taking sides with one party or the other. My party, if I'm a politician, your party, if you are a politician, you have agents there. You have agents, and there is no way an agent is going to sign a paper, you understand, that, or confirm a paper that is not proper. I hope you got what I'm trying to say. So these things are there. They are clear things. People will cast their votes. Votes will be counted in the presence of agents of all candidates. Okay. So it will be very, very difficult for one person, you understand, one party A or one party B, to muzzle up the whole agents there, tie them, and I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. So I think for us, the only reason why we want to be there is to ensure that, well, we get a first-hand information, because obviously I know that there is no way anybody can, buy over the entirety of the agents that are there.
I believe the reason why this is of importance would also be the precedents that many electorate have had in the past, because it sounds as simple as you can't bundle a party agent, but of course that's where electoral malpractice starts from. And that has been the experience.
No, the electoral malpractices do not take place this way. Electoral malpractices take place through people who are there, who know that they don't have their party, their own candidates cannot win in that booth, all right, and they foment trouble there. That's the only way these things happen.
What way forward now?
Let me explain this. Let me explain this. If I know that this is the area of strength of party B and I'm in party A, the easiest thing to ensure is to ensure that votes here are not counted. Or why the votes are being, you understand what I'm trying to say? Why the votes are being counted, I can cause some problem, and some people will throw water, some people will throw bottle, some people, you understand what I'm trying to say? So you see, for the police, for the IGP, he has his reasons. Let's be objective.
Okay, you are going to vote tomorrow. What would you do? What would you expect the average electorate of voter to do tomorrow after such as a vote?
Well, I will cast my vote and I will go home.
Okay.
All right? Because I know that my party agent is there.
To represent you.
To represent. And I know that the booths, the polling units are how many meters away from my house. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
And I will want to follow the instructions
of the IG.
Yes, because I don't want a situation where one overzealous person, you understand, who knows that maybe his party might not win or his party might lose, might foment trouble. Because, you see, we have to look for every avenue to ensure that these elections is not only peaceful, you understand, but it's also violence-free, and then so that we get it right.
Pastor NNOROM, thank you very much for finding time to join us today.
Thank you very
on
much.
Call Digest.
Thank you.
Okay, we can't wait to tell the story. In a few hours now, another new page will turn in the political history of Nigeria. The studios are going to be open again, I believe, at 5 later this evening, where we get details of ongoing activities across Nigeria. Of course, resident electoral commissioners are saying that sensitive materials are already getting in town and the distribution has already started. In Kano, for instance, they say all the ballot papers are already at about 44 local government areas. So we are hopeful and optimistic that the history of logistic challenges will not repeat itself tomorrow, even as Nigerians are quite optimistic also to exercise their franchise. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. Thanks for joining us this hour. We'll be back, of course, later on this evening while we'll open the 2015 election studio yet again. Stick around. Don't go away.
You can now watch Core TV News live from anywhere in the world on our website, www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to Core TV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click Core TV, leave a space, then News. Core TV News, a 24-hour news station.